fell face down in back seat of his car. Blood was on his head. Mrs. Kennedy cried, "Oh no," and tried to hold up his head.
The images you see here say it all. A president shot dead in the middle of a motorcade. The cameraman, so shaken in fear, could not keep his hands steady. Next Friday marks the 50th anniversary of the day President John F. Kennedy was assassinated in downtown Dallas. A country in mourning as journalists Chet Huntley and Frank McGee announced the death to the nation.
White House Press Secretary Malcolm Kilduff has just announced that President Kennedy died at approximately 1 o'clock Central Standard Time, which is about 35 minutes ago.
50 years later, people still come every day, point to the 6th floor window, stand on the grassy knoll, imagining what that day was like. President John F. Kennedy and First Lady Jacqueline Kennedy driving by, smiling. They looked down from the school book depository building, imagining what Lee Harvey Oswald saw. But as Marissa Kargassis explains, one Arkansan doesn't have to imagine.
It's a pretty exciting day to see the President of the United States come in and give a speech.
In 1963, Bud Turner was working as production manager at a TV station in Texas, assigned to cover President John F. Kennedy's breakfast speech at the Hotel Texas in Fort Worth.
Friday morning, we go to the hotel early, get everything ready. At the conclusion, the chief engineer and I grab a quick lunch and go back to the station. There's a slide up that says something about Kennedy being shot, and I really didn't quite understand it. And I looked at the other engineer and I said, what's going on? And about that time, Cronkite comes up and says Kennedy has been shot and he's been taken to Parkland Hospital.
Turner rounded up his crew, loaded the trucks, and headed down the freeway to the hospital.
We get there just in time to videotape the hearse leaving the hospital carrying Kennedy's body. Panic. At the hospital, just total panic. People were crying, shaking their heads, walking around, not knowing what to do. That night, when you're sitting at home with a beer in your hand, and you think, did that really happen? And was I really there?
48 hours later, Lee Harvey Oswald was in custody for the assassination, and Turner was there for the transfer from city to county jail.
When I see Detective Level, with Oswald walk out the door, I just reach around and start the videotape recorder. You never know when something's going to happen, so you always try to be prepared. Well, sure enough, he got shot. We could see what was happening. We could see Ruby rush up, but it all happened so quickly. The announcer was saying, he's been shot. Oswald's been shot. And then they were wrestling Ruby to the ground.
Now, 50 years later, Turner still replays every detail that unfolded on those fateful days.
You just relive it, really. You just relive it step by step.
And with his camera, Turner captured history.
This is going to sound funny, but you don't think about the gravity of the situation. You just do what has to be done.
While the entire country mourned, it's safe to say Arkansas felt a deeper pain. President Kennedy left a mark on the natural state 50 years ago when he came to dedicate the Greers Ferry Dam. While here, he told the country the heartbeat driving the pulse of prosperity was beating hardest in Arkansas, and he wanted the nation to notice. Well, back here in Central Arkansas, women are coming together to encourage more women to jump into politics. And this weekend, how they're inspiring women from all over to take on leadership roles throughout the state.
Just a society thing, right? We tend to take the backseat. Women are not as likely to put themselves out there. It's hard. It's hard to leave your family or your job.
Stephanie Harris saw the need for more women in politics and started the group Women Lead Arkansas. She said women only represent 17% of Arkansas state legislature. For the first time, she hosted this campaign training event for women like Susan Inman, who's running for office.
We have too few women in leadership roles, and we need more women to step up and run for public office because women have a lot to share.
Women learned how to fundraise, campaign, and strategize, to name a few. Not only are they working to boost the number of women in politics, but other leadership roles.
Having a woman at the top will help inspire a lot of women and girls to participate in politics in a way we haven't in the past.
Mosey Boyd of Madame President PAC made the trip from Fort Smith to be here and is not only pushing for more women to take a stand, but working to help elect the nation's first female president.
Madam President PAC's goal is going to be as helpful as possible to Hillary Clinton.
While Hillary Clinton hasn't announced her candidacy, Women Lead Arkansas says her success still serves as inspiration for other women and girls to get involved.
Women have a different perspective and maybe a different way of making decisions and dealing with problems. And also, we are half the population, but we're not represented proportionally in our politics.
Now, according to Women Lead Arkansas, of the positions filled on our state boards and commissions, 71% are male and about 29% are female. Only 16 boards and commissions have more females than males. And again, 17% of females make up Arkansas's legislature. And there's one woman in particular many Democrats are supporting for a presidential run, former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, but Clinton has yet to announce her candidacy. In a network news poll, Hillary gets the support of 44% of adults, while New Jersey Governor Chris Christie receives only 34%.
But 2016 is Hillary's time. Run, Hillary, run. If you run, you'll win, and we'll all win.
The 2016 election, of course, is over 1,000 days away. Still to come, the end of the written word, how new technology is replacing our old way of communicating.
And much colder as we wake up tomorrow morning, back into the 40s as that cold front makes its impact, so kids will need a coat as they're waiting for the bus tomorrow morning. I'll have a last look at that extended forecast coming up in just a bit.